Hello and welcome to your throat chakra pranayama practice. So we're going to do a couple of things in today's pranayama practice. One of the things we're going to do is Bramhari pranayama, which is bee humming breath. And that's creating a vibration with your ears plugged that affects the brain and the skull, because you can actually feel the vibration of the brain and the skull. It's said to induce gamma waves, which is perfect right before you do meditation. And it's also said to break up the plaque that forms in the brain that causes us to have brain fog and lethargy in the brain. And so this is a great practice to do every day. And because we're dealing with the vibration of sound, we're going to do that. But before we get to the bee humming breath, we're going to work with Ujjayi breath and something called Jaladhara bandha. And so that is basically it's a throat lock. And we create this, I'm going to just turn, by gently dropping the chin towards the chest, but keeping the back of the neck long. So rather than dropping all the way in and closing off the spine for the traveling of energy, keeping the back of the neck long and just dropping. Okay, so we're going to work with some equal part breath and some breath retentions. And as we exhale, when we're doing our Ujjayi breath retentions, we'll slowly drop the chin, hold the breath at the bottom of that exhale. And then as we inhale, we'll slowly raise the chin just to level, to open the throat. And then we'll stay here as we retain the inhale. And then the exhale, we drop the chin again. So that's the manner that we're going to flow with. So let's just start by sitting up nice and tall, either on the floor, your cushion, or a chair. And so that your head is free. So you're sitting, your spine's nice and straight. And you can close your eyes if you wish and begin to connect with your belly breath. And I'm actually going to walk you through Ujjayi breath, because sometimes people are not quite sure about Ujjayi breath. So before we get into it, I better back up a little bit. So Ujjayi breath is creating that restriction in the back of the throat, so it's kind of like in the soft palate. And we're going to try it with your mouth open to start. And if you think of the nasal cavity as this room, and as you breathe, everything travels, the air travels through the whole room. But when we create this restriction at the back of the throat, it smooths the breath out and it travels on the floor of the nasal cavity. And so this restriction and control of the breath is called Ujjayi breath, or victorious breath. And we're going to use that throughout our whole practice, both on the inhale and the exhale. And this is a breath that we normally use throughout our whole physical asana practice as well. But sometimes it gets lost along the way. So we'll start with the mouth open. So think about fogging up a mirror as you take an inhale. The exhale is easier to learn. And pretend your hand is a mirror, and everybody can do this unless you are proficient at it. And just notice what's happening at the back of your throat when you do that. And then take another inhale. And then let's try and do it with the mouth open for both an inhale and an exhale. So it's almost like you're going, but really slow. And then exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. And notice what you're doing at the back of your throat when you do that. Continue with your mouth open for a little bit longer if you are still struggling to get the hang of it. And if you feel like, oh yeah, I got this, do a couple with your mouth open, and then just close the lips and continue to do that through the nasal cavity. So go ahead and start with your inhale and your exhale. And then close the lips. So it begins to sound like the ocean. Keep moving with your Ujjayi breath. Sounds like the ocean if you're doing it really loudly, like Darth Vader. But continue with this breath, and then we'll try to smooth it out so that your breath, your inhale and exhale, are going to a count of 4, which we've done before in these pranayama practices. So maybe we can stop and all start together. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. And inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep moving with that rhythm with your inhales and your exhales, smoothing out the breath and helping it to come into an equilibrium of equal breath, and feeling your awareness at the throat, creating that restriction to slow the breath down. It's almost like the breath is just gently caressing the throat as it glides over the floor of your breathing apparatus. So when you feel like you've got that going, we're now going to add our breath retentions. And if you're comfortable without too much to think about, you can add the dropping of the chin, and I'll guide you through it. So we inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale slowly, dropping the chin for 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay with chin lowered and breath retained for 2, 3, 4. And slowly lift as you inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause here for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale and drop for 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4. And inhale, lift the chin slow for 3, 4. Pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly drop as you exhale for 2, 3, 4. And stay here for the retention for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale and lift for 2, 3, 4. And stay for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain the breath with chin dropped for 2, 3, 4. And inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, chin drops for 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4. And inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. And drop for 1, 2, 3, 4. And pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. And inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Now continue on with your own count, with your own breath for a few more rounds. And then as you finish your exhale retention, you can go ahead and lift the chin and just come back to normal belly breathing for a couple of rounds. Let your eyes be closed. Just notice if you feel a calmness and a little bit of inner peace from this pranayama you just finished. And now we're going to go ahead and move into the Bramhari Pranayama, or bee humming breath. And so the first time I did this, I felt really foolish, but that's okay. I've gotten really used to feeling foolish a lot lately, so it's okay. So there's a couple ways to do it. We're going to keep it really simple. You basically place your thumbs in your ears. You can place your fingers over the face, which is, I forget the name of it in Sanskrit, but it's basically blocking out all of the senses and coming into a sense of what's called pratyahara, which is bringing all your awareness inside and blocking out the outside world. If you want to just keep your fingers not on your face, that's okay today too, especially if this is the first time you've done this. And so basically, we'll inhale through the nose, and with the mouth closed, tongue goes to the back, to the upper teeth where they meet the palate, as though you're saying the sound for the letter N, like Norman. And you can move your tongue around a little bit, dropping the back of the tongue as you exhale in your buzzing sound. And you'll notice that you'll feel the vibration differently in the skull, in the head, in the throat. And we're going to do 6 rounds. And I'm going to do it too. So if it's too, you probably aren't going to hear me. But when you're done your 6 rounds of exhale, we'll count the exhale. Just release your hands and just sit with your eyes closed, breathing normally, and notice the resonance of the vibration. So let's go ahead and get started. Taking a deep inhale, plug the ears. Once you complete your 6 rounds, just release your hands. Come back into your effortless belly breath. And just sit with the resonance of that vibration. Notice how you feel. And so now you might be ready to move directly into the meditation. Or maybe you did this at the end of your physical practice and you're ready to move into a longer shavasana. And maybe you're just doing this as a practice on its own. But either way, thank you so much for joining for this pranayama practice. I hope, as foolish as you might have felt, that you feel some of the effects of what we were doing in that practice of the vibration. And this is something done over a long period of time that actually starts to affect the brain and make positive changes in the brain. So have fun with that. And yeah, I'll see you on your mat for the next practice. Namaste. Thank you for joining.